Hey guys, it's Aaron. Come back at you again with another amazing YouTube video, and today I've got some very exciting news. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a spoiler alert. Okay, so apparently allegedly, the script for the first episode, exactly how it goes down, has been leaked. It is by this guy on the Spoiling Dead, and it seems very accurate to what we have been thinking was going to happen. And honestly, I gotta say, I really like if it happens this way. I really like how it happens. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So this is how it happens. So we see the cold open, which is Negan and Rick. This is me reading it straight from the post, so it may take a little bit to get into it. It's gonna be like a 10-minute video, but yeah. We see the cold open, which is Negan and Rick trailer that was recently released. You know, the sneak peek where it showed the in the end it showed the close to what the destroyed head. It is just after Negan whacks out Abe and Glenn, which is who we've been thinking it is the whole time. That's been dissected to death, so I'm not going to go over that now. Negan throws Rick into the RV and drives the axe into the table. So Negan drags Rick into the RV with the axe. He drives the axe into the table. Then Negan tries to drive the RV like a mofo. Negan gets behind the wheel and starts to drive. Negan mocks Rick about him threatening to kill him. Negan dares him to get that axe and come and get him. Rick, being Rick, does just that. Negan confronts him with a machine gun. Rick backs down. Obviously a wise move. They take off again, and now Rick starts his dream state, thinking about people in the lineup, and then lineup folks starting to set up a party tables back at Alexandria Safe Zone. Negan pulls up to the burning logs on the burning log road and shuts her down. You know where the guy is hanging? He grabs the axe and opens the door of the RV. Walkers are now around the RV, attracted by the fire and smoke. Negan pops his way clear with Lucille, then tosses the axe on the roof. He tells Rick to go get his axe, so Negan basically tosses Rick out of the RV into the Walker Fest. Rick still has these dreams of the garden party starting up and everyone starting to come together, doing all sorts of family-oriented stuff. It's also mixed in with shots of the lineup folks back in the lineup as well. In between these dreams, he's fighting walkers all around the RV, but it's so smoky and dim he cannot even find the RV. He fights with several walkers, all burnt up and stuff. He finally makes it to the RV and recognizes the ladder to the roof. As he climbs, walkers want him down. He kicks his way free to the top and lands on top of the RV. Man, wow. He looks around and sees the hanging man. So the hanging man for the bridge, I'll put up a picture of that just to be more descriptive. Now a walker or a hanger, just a few feet away from him, just hanging there, struggling around. He keeps thinking about the party folks, even baby Gleggy. That's Glenn and Maggie's baby. That's the name that they've given it. Then they're back in the lineup, back to reality. Oh, the ghost. That was fucking lame. Back to the hopeless feelings. This basically recycles for everyone in the lineup. Rick is cracking now. He's crumpling down on top of the RV, ready to cry. Now we go into the flashback. The LVs, a lot of it through Rick's eyes. Negan goes through the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing, and guess where the bat ends up? Right on Abe. You can cry, hell, you're all going to be doing that whole thing, all that shtick. And then Abe goes all stoic, ready to accept his fate, and then whack. Abe takes it on the skull. Negan is amazed Abe is kind of still with us. So he takes the first swing over the head, bam, right on top of Abe's head, and somehow he's still conscious and able. Somehow Abraham is able to manage to get out one more Abeism, suck my nuts, and then all the while taking it like a champ, whack. Abe goes down, and then bloody goo becomes mush after a few more hits. Negan pummels his head. Rick looks on, stunned, obviously. After Negan shows Rosita his bloody Lucille, so Negan brings the bat up to Lucille. She doesn't want to look at it, but he demands she do so. Daryl is fuming, like he's just ready to explode. In Negan's mid-sentence, Daryl jumps up and clocks Negan's ass and knocks him to the ground, which, okay, this is the only part that I don't like about this, because, first off, this is entirely not in the comic, and it kind of, you know, makes Negan's character look weaker than we thought. If he can just get knocked down by Daryl, Daryl's a strong guy, but if he could just get knocked on his ass by Daryl, it kind of like just lightens the situation. It doesn't make you feel like this guy is as threatening as he is. So I don't really like that. So there's a few things in this that I hope it isn't real, but I hope this specific part isn't real. But yeah, Daryl jumps up and clocks Negan in the ass and knocks him to the ground. Dwight and another savior grab Daryl and tackle him. Oh, hell no. Negan's not a Daryl fan right now. That isn't the way to make friends in the clearing. Rick basically calls out the dogs and gets Daryl to stop. Negan takes note of the relationship between Rick and Daryl. Now, that's really important. He takes note of that. Dwight kicks Daryl back into the lineup. First one was free, this one won't be. Negan explains how the shit works, has to make the right impression. Now, getting knocked on your ass by Daryl isn't the greatest impression, so I'm hoping, like, it's kind of contradictory, but instantly, Negan brings up the bat over Daryl, then turns and whacks the shit out of Glenn. So he brings the bat up to Daryl like he's going to hit him, and then just knocks it out of Glenn. Then again, bashing in the top of his skull, Glenn spits out his comic book lines, so the Maggie, the only words he can muster is Maggie. Negan spits out his comic lines about his eye looking gross and shit. He turns to Maggie and basically acts sorry about having to do all this. Then back to work. As noted, no exceptions. Then it gets graphic. You probably already got a good idea. Brain soup. So I'm really hoping it is as graphic as this comic, because that's what's most important about this. Is the only thing is I don't like the fact that Negan gets knocked on his ass. In the comic he's a really big guy. In the TV show he's not as big, but he still needs to portray that character as a really big, threatening giant, basically. But yeah, flashback over, back on top of the RV where Rick is. Rick starts to feel crushed. As it gets back to reality mode, Rick sees the axe, feeling pissed. Negan wants his axe. Rick has to move as bullets from the machine gun start tearing up through the roof of the RV from inside. Rick grabs the axe and jumps off the RV onto the hanging bridge guy that now is a walker. Now Rick is periodically having constructed sort of quick flashbacky scenes in his head about how Negan is loose-sealing people in the lineup. The cracking has commenced. Rick is hanging on the walker trying to climb up, keeping from the walker's blow from getting him, but the weight is too great and the hanging dude starts to come apart. So it starts just tearing apart. That's gonna be great. Then the machine gun fire is taking out walkers below. Negan is in the RV like we see in one of the trailers, shooting walkers, trying to help Rick get his axe. The dead guy gives way and part of the guy, Rick, and the axe go flying to the ground. Rick gets up, looking around, and obviously has to fend off more walkers until he finds the axe again. More scenes of loose sealing the lineup goes through Rick's head. So throughout this, there's like little flashbacks. I don't really understand this, but it's whatever. Rick is all over the place fighting walkers. The smoke making finding the RV difficult again. The horn is honked so he could follow the sound. He finally gets to the RV and the walkers are up on him. Door is locked. More walkers. He's doomed. At the last second, the door opens and Negan yanks him inside. Obviously, Negan is amazed and pleased that Rick got his axe. Back to the clearing they go. So, I don't really understand this. It's almost like Negan is on their side. Well, basically, they have a protection service running, but it's not like you get to choose if you want the protection. They force the protection upon you. So they're not really their enemy, but they also are their enemy. So anyways, obviously the axe is dirty. Negan cleans it and gives it back to Rick right before Negan makes a grand re-entrance to the group and tosses Rick out the door again. Negan drags Rick back to the lineup. He's mad because all that was supposed to break Rick. It didn't quite work that way. Now, back in the clearing, Negan is mad about the way Rick looked at him the whole time up to even now. He knows Rick ain't there yet. So, Negan asks if he should give Rick another chance. Rick, of course, agrees. Negan needs some insurance, apparently, so he has Simon point guns at the back of everyone in the lineup's head. Wow. Alright. Negan wants Carl up where he is. Uh-oh. Negan pulls off his belt. Carl comes over. Negan wraps it around his arm and makes him lay on the ground. Simon gives him a Sharpie marker and makes a deliberate mark on Carl's forearm. Rick pleads with Negan Negan isn't interested. Negan orders Rick to cut off Carl's arm at the mark. Not to worry, Negan has a doctor that could save Carl. So, this is kind of alarming because I haven't read this before, and this is like my actual reaction. This is wow. Wow. So, let's continue. Negan directs Rick down to where Carl is. Got to do it now, or Negan will see him swinging Lucille around Carl's head. So, just like twirling it around. All right. Rick begs to make it be him. Negan declines. My way or the highway, basically. Only one choice here. Rick doesn't do it. Negan brings up Lucille. Negan starts a backwards count of 3. Rick starts to crack. He pleads with Negan again. 2. Carl accepts his fate, not trying to show fear. Oh, wow. Why do I sound gay? Not trying to show fear. 1. Rick starts to do it, broken, crying like a little bitch. Then at the last second, Negan stops him. Negan has done it. Rick is literally owned. Negan takes the axe, then points it at Daryl. Negan orders Dwight to take Daryl with him, threatens if Rick tries not to follow the rules that he'll cut off little pieces and send them to him, or bring him by so Rick can do it. So for a second there, I thought they were actually going to cut off Carl's arm, but it was just to break Rick. Yeah, so we're getting close to the end. Then Negan starts to leave, then says he'll leave them a truck to get and haul all the shit they'll get for him. 1 week, they'll come a knocking. Says his signature goodbye line from the comic. As the saviors leave, a couple take Polaroids of the bodies, like the ones that Glenn saw on the wall in the outpost. So when he got his first kill, when they saw those pictures on the wall, that's pretty messed up. The guy who wrote this isn't like, I guess he's not very literate, so that's why I have to stop a lot. But anyways, yeah. So they take Polaroids of the bodies, like the ones that Glenn saw at the outpost. Rick just stands there with his axe, stunned, totally broken. They load the bodies in the truck, and they still got to get Maggie to see the doctor. Maggie is so broken and weak, hanging on to life. They all leave They all leave, and Rick drives off in the RV. Sasha and Maggie and the bodies go to HT Hilltop. I'm guessing that's what it is. The garden party with everyone at the table floats through Rick's mind, as things might have turned out, but won't. Rick spies a walker coming out of the woods in the RV rearview mirror. The walker drops to his knees to get ready to eat the brains and goo on the ground where the bodies were. Rick glances away, still obviously shaken. Finish. So, what it was saying there at the end, that a walker bent over to eat the brains of Abraham and Glenn, that's pretty, wow. So, my thoughts on this, I gotta say, I like it. The only thing I do not like about this is it seems like there's a lot of shit happening at once, but the main thing I don't like about this is Negan getting taken down by Daryl. That is not neat. Like, it would have been better if Daryl would have taken a swing, hit Negan in the face, and Negan wasn't affected at all and just brushes it off. It would have, but I don't like the fact that Negan gets knocked on his ass. It's kind of like it just contradicts the character that Negan is supposed to be. He's supposed to be this big giant, this person that they cannot kill. He is just like a king. Like, it just contradicts his comic character. I don't know. This isn't 100% guaranteed to be real, but it seems pretty legit. I really think this is how it's going to go down. I don't know how a person would get their hands on the script like this, but yeah. So if I were like this, I say pretty much does make up for the cliffhanger. I really do like this. It's just the only thing is Daryl taking down Negan. That I just really don't like it. I like how they handled the 2 deaths. It starts with Abe, and then we think he's about to take out Daryl, and then wham. I hope that he points the bat at Abraham, then takes a quick side swing and knocks Glenn's jaw off. I'm not sure if that the first swing in the comic is over the head on Glenn, but yeah, he has to actually muster out Maggie, so I guess the first one is over his head. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Major spoilers. If this is real, I gotta say I'm pretty satisfied. It's the only thing I don't like, the part about Negan getting knocked on his ass. This doesn't really seem legit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share this to get it around everywhere. Comment what you think if you think it's real. Comment what you think of it. And I hope to see you next time.